Hello, hello, hello. This is Gresh from the I Am CEO podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Nikki Hendricks of Nikki Hendricks Shop. Nikki, it's awesome to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here or be on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Excited to have you on the show and be here as well, too. And before we hopped in, I wanted to read a little bit more about Nikki so you can hear about all these awesome things that she's doing. And Nikki started her fashion career shortly after graduating from the General Fine Arts undergrad program. She debuted her senior collection in DC Fashion Week that went on to New York, Milan, and Paris Fashion Weeks in 2017. And she began her residency with DC Fashion Foundation in the same year, in which she had a studio inside the Macy's at Metro Center. There, she was able to cultivate and grow her fashion company. She then went on to later participate in Feeric Fashion Week in Sibiu, Romania, and London Fashion Week. She now has dedicated her business solely to creating masks during the pandemic. She plans on relaunching her brand in February 2021 to include women's clothing, accessories, and masks. Nikki, are you ready to speak to the I'm CEO community?
Yes, let's get it.
Let's do it. So to kick everything off, I wanted to hear a little bit more on how you got started. Could you take us through what I call your CEO story? We'll let you get started with your business.
Yes, so back in, I believe, 2015, I actually created my first collection, La Marine de la Chune. I was in college, my junior year, I believe, and my house at home caught on fire. So I was doing a lot to try and scramble together that first collection, but it really went far. I got a lot of attention. The school really promoted me. Micah, I went to the Maryland Institute College of Art in Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
They helped promote that collection, and I got in DC Fashion Week first. So my senior year, I created the collection Half and Half. It was just supposed to explore, I want to say, different identities within America. So that includes different races, genders, sexes, religions, things like that. I interviewed 20 different models with 20 completely different backgrounds that all went to my school. That all went to my school. And I asked them what image best represented them. So I took that image and I put it into the design for the fabric that I made for that collection. So every piece would have a part of the model in it. So nice. It gave a whole new meaning to just something to wear. It's something you keep and something that's, gonna transcend different generations and things like that, like can be passed down because it has a story attached to it. So that was just kind of like my start. And surprisingly, senior year, things just blew up. Like it was just crazy. I was trying to figure out what I was gonna do next. And I was trying to figure out what I was going to do next. And I got an email from OFS, Oxford Fashion Studio. They're based in London. And then they were like, can you do New York Fashion Week? Can you do Paris Fashion Week? So I was like, of course, I would love to. Right. So then I got started with those fashion weeks. I did New York. And then while I was in New York, I got discovered again to do Milan Fashion Week. So I bought a plane ticket and was off to Milan before Paris Fashion Week. So I did New York, Milan, then Paris, then came home. So that was like a huge whirlwind for like my first year. And I didn't really know how to cultivate it into a business because it started as me being a creative. Mm-hmm. So then I started trying to backpedal and, all right, let me get this kind of more business geared and focused. So I met Christine Brooks Cropper. She founded the DC Chamber of Fashion under, I believe, Mayor Anthony Williams. So she's a great person to be connected with. She's my mentor, love her. Shout out to Christine. So I was there. I had my studio in the Macy's. And I was just trying to take classes and get more business oriented. Again, I'm a creative. I went to an art school. I don't have a business background, but I learned so much in the 2 years that I was in that residency. And while I was in that residency, I got into British Vogue. I got featured in British Vogue. GQ, British or UK GQ. What else was it? Um, yeah, so it was a couple magazines and publications that I'm really excited I got into that are all just blanket in my mind right now. But it was still like a really crazy kind of catapult. And now it's just trying to figure out how to make this a successful and thriving business.
Yeah, oh, I absolutely love that. I think so many times that people have, their gift, their passion, their calling, so to speak, and a lot of times you never know exactly how, it's going to work out, but you take those steps, you just kind of pursue it, and the next thing you know, all these doors, magazines, and different fashion weeks start to open up for you. So it's definitely a kind of a great reminder. And I wanted to hear a little bit more on like how you serve your clients. Can you take us through like what your business does, and also like what kind of goes into, I guess, the process of how you decide what is going to actually come to fruition and become a part of your lines?
Okay. Well, so at first I started off doing more of tailoring and one-on-one kind of designs. But as I, learned more about the fashion industry and how a lot of fashion designers operated, I started making samples for collections and then just selling my collections. And I would do certain projects with people on the side. I'm still creative. I still wanted to create and not just be a business brand, but also something interactive and still fun. So like having events and fashion shows and pop-ups. So being really in tune with people and talking to people constantly and getting my inspiration from people. So that was more, I want to say, more of the way I operate my brand. As far as creating a collection now, the process that I go through is creating sketches. So I just keep sketching, keep feeling inspired. I probably keep about 50 sketches between like 4 or 5 sketchbooks, and I have an app on my phone, a template. Look, I'm not a French person, but it's a really great app for any fashion designers out there. It's really great for on the go. I have it on my iPad. I just sketch and do whatever. So I compile about 50. Then I have a consultant that I go through and we pick some of the strongest ones. And after that, it goes to a manufacturer to get the samples made.
Mhm.
And then once I have my samples made in the sizes, then you have the runway show. That's when you show it off, Fashion Week, or doing publications, or doing commercials. Like I just shot a commercial in New York recently for a mini collection that I'm launching later on in 2021. But yeah, so it's just kind of like that whole thing. And then after you've promoted it, you can really sell it and work on the next collection. So it's a cycle.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that because I loved how you came up with the idea, and I love the kind of interactivity that you kind of reference as well too, where you had the different models and you really drill down and hear their stories, and those stories kind of sounds like laid the foundation for that specific collection. So I love that entire process, and I think that so many times when you see, fashion, we sometimes don't see and feel all those stories. So I really love that you expand upon that, and that kind of taps into your creativity.
Yeah, thank you. No, I really, fashion is for people. Like it's for people to express themselves and feel included. And, being a Black woman, I'm already not at a lot of tables,
Mhm.
so I just try to try to make people feel like they're in the clothes, like they're a part of the
Mhm.
clothes. And that makes it easier to sell, like, because people, it's for them. You're
Yeah.
gonna buy something that has your name on it, or like versus something that's just a regular little t-shirt. You'll keep the one that has your name on it because it's sentimental to you. So
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I love that story piece. I feel like we all can kind of connect to each other through stories. And like you said, when you feel like you're a part of the piece because you can resonate with somebody's story, then all
right,
of a sudden you feel like it is like having your name, on it because you have that type of connection and association with it.
right. So that's just how I run my brand pretty much.
Nice. I love that. And so let me ask you this. I was going to ask you for what I call your secret sauce. And this is the thing that kind of sets you or your brand apart and makes you unique. Do you feel it's that ability to be able to, I don't know if the right word is synthesize or hear somebody's story, hear what they're looking for, just what they're urging, and be able to kind of manifest that into pieces of your collection?
Yeah, I mean, what really sets me apart from a lot of fashion brands is that I really try to include the voices of the people that would actually be wearing the clothes, you
Mm,
know, as opposed to, yeah, you can make something look cute and beautiful all day, but you know, if it can carry a story, then it has a lot more power with it. So,
mm,
and it can make a statement, you know, in that collection, I called it half and half, but it was the blends. The next collection I did was half and half.
mm,
Um, I really wanted to make it important that I sat down and interviewed. I have tapes and everything of talking to the models. I asked them about what their family life was like on a Sunday, and realizing that we all are just pretty similar. We all do kind of the same thing. We have a collective American culture. And, you know, just it was the time that Trump was elected, and I believe that things were really just divisive, and it just felt like you were the other a lot. So
right.
you're just trying to get people to commune together and to see that their differences don't mean anything. And it was hilarious at the fashion show, seeing all the models that are also different places, and didn't even talk to each other across majors and everything. Everyone was friends, like
Yeah.
brought everyone together in a weird way. So, you know, just being able to do that, I feel like I set myself apart. And in my last collection, half and half, really quickly, was inspired by my brother who moved to Japan,
Mhm.
and he married a Japanese woman, and he had a son. His name is Jin. So it would have, and then the way that they're raising him is to have a double consciousness. You know, that's from
Mm.
W.E.B. Du Bois,
Boys, yeah.
talking about, right. So being African American and American. So we're trying to embrace the culture of Japanese and African American, what that looks like. So that was the collection of those two urban styles mixed together. So again, like I just try to, you know, put the stories of people that felt like they didn't really belong here, they didn't really belong here, but you know, just still kind of the fun and the chaos, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I feel like that's definitely a sign of, true excellence and being really great at your craft is to be able to kind of understand those two things or multiple things a lot of times and be able to kind of synthesize that into a piece. Because I think when you can kind of see or understand, like, for example, you talked about the double consciousness, understanding that piece and being able to kind of see it in your collection is so powerful because not only does it amplify, obviously, the piece and the wonderful work that you're doing, I think it also reminds us of some of those foundational things that we feel like separates us, but a lot of times brings us so much closer because we have those kind of same nuances.
Right, right. So I'm just trying to do it in fashion. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely love that. That's your modality and way that you do that. So I appreciate that, and I wanted to switch gears a little bit, and I wanted to ask you for what I call a CEO hack. So this could be like an app, a book, or a habit that you have, but what's something that makes you more effective and efficient?
Whew. Um, Definitely a calendar app.
Mm.
Um, Definitely Template, the one I plugged earlier
Yeah, I
about
was about to say that.
6 months ago. Um, and Instagram, honestly, is a business card. It's a great business card. I now see that people can have like these things where you can tap phones and you get all of the info. You get there, how to contact them on Instagram, and you can see everybody's portfolio, what they've done, what they've
Mm.
been working on, who they've been working with, who they've been following. So you can get a lot of information from that. It's a great networking tool for the fashion industry. So like definitely those three are probably my top: Instagram, Template, I'm saying that wrong, and my calendar app.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. And the app, I'm gonna try to say it too. Press on play. And if I know I probably didn't say it right. Is that's how you're able to kind of tap the phones and do the connections and see everything from everybody?
No, so Template is the sketching app.
Okay,
There are a couple. I'm gonna mess up the name. I don't have them on hand, but
no
there are
worries.
a couple of apps I've seen. Or like you get like a card and it has all your information. It's like a business
Big
card, but
card.
you tap somebody's phone and they
Yeah.
have your phone number, Instagram, Facebook, website, whatever you want them to have.
Yeah.
So, even that would be good for customers. If you want to take them to your online website, you can have that link up there on those little systems, I believe. So
Yeah, no, that's extremely powerful. And especially, as you kind of touch on, being able to kind of see your portfolio and see the work that you do, especially because obviously your work is definitely very image driven, obviously Instagram, and then being able to kind of see somebody's work and see who they worked with and their history and things like that is definitely powerful. So I love those hacks.
no, thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And then I wanted to ask you now for what I call a CEO nugget. And this could be like a word of wisdom or a piece of advice. It might be something, if you hopped into a time machine, you would tell your younger business self.
Don't be so friendly.
Mm.
I was definitely like the first to smile and, work with anybody. But I have been burned a lot. I've been burned a lot just because of how nice I am and how willing I am to work with others. And so I just started like, keeping a small kind of group of people that I really work hard with. But, again, that doesn't slow me down from working with other people that might put me onto a different genre and network, or, like it's just expanding my brand. But at the same time, I'm just very careful about who I work with now, because drama free. Drama.
Yeah, I've definitely been there, so I could definitely understand. And it's so kind of interesting that you want to help out everybody. I think, especially when you have a good heart, you want to be of service to as many people as possible. But we often forget that a lot of times we have to kind of protect ourselves and protect our circle, keep our cup filled, and be aware of where and who we're spending time with. And if we don't do that, we really can't I guess serve and be as effective as we could be if we make sure that we pay attention to that. So I love that nugget, just because often we forget that about ourselves. As much as we want to help, we have to make sure that our oxygen mask is on and we're able to kind of serve to the best of our ability by doing that.
Right. You can't burn yourself trying to help other people,
Mhm.
or, kill yourself trying to make sure other people are good. You definitely, like, the cup being full. I'm a heavy believer in self-care
Mhm.
and making sure that you have your ducks in line before you're out projecting to the world. So,
Yeah, and not only does it allow you to obviously be in a good place, it also allows you to serve even better and even stronger and more effective. And I think so
yeah.
many times we zoom past that because we want to help so many people out, but we often forget we have to help ourselves first, and then everything comes forward from there.
Right, right. So, yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And now I wanted to ask you my absolute favorite question, which is the definition of what it means to be a CEO. And we're hoping to have different quote unquote CEOs on this show. So, Nikki, what does being a CEO mean to you?
A CEO means being flexible, patient, um, a great leader, in saying that you have compassion and that you're not a tyrant.
Mhm.
Um, and just, I want to say, I don't know. I think that's pretty much it. Just patience. Pretty much, as an entrepreneur goes, you have to have patience, and definitely just faith that things are going to work out.
Yeah, often in entrepreneurship and business, a lot of times it's, and I think Martin Luther King said, taking a step without seeing all the rest of the staircase. And that's,
Amen.
yes, this is so much about, business and entrepreneurship, because a lot of times we never know how to, what is going to unfold from these steps that we take. And I think your story is a great point of that, because a lot of times when you do pursue the passions that you have and the gifts that you have, a lot of times many doors will open up. And I think that's true in terms of being a leader, being able to be flexible, as you mentioned as well too, and having that compassion. But I think so many times you have to sometimes just have the faith and take the steps, and then things will kind of unfold from there.
Right. I had no idea. I had no one in the fashion industry when I had really just started. When I went to New York Fashion Week, I didn't know anybody there, and I was
Mm.
one of the only black. I would think I was the only black designer there, woman or man. So, just really just being there and being in the moment and being ready for it just speaks a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely speaks a lot to you because you've been able to obviously be at that table, so to speak, but also you represent so many other people because you're actually listening, have those conversations. So those pieces and those parts of your collection are also representative of so many other people and their stories and those voices that they may not have in that room. So again, taking those steps is so important. So I love that definition and perspective. And I appreciate your time even more. And so what I wanted to do is pass you the mic, so to speak, just to see if there's anything additional you can let our readers and listeners know. And of course, how best they can get a hold of you and find out about all the awesome things that you're working on.
Okay, so I just want to plug, I'm making masks. Again, my masks are Black Lives Matter and Black LGBTQ plus Lives Matter. They're on my website. $5 from each mask I donate to the Loveland Foundation and the Capital. I'm sorry, the Capital Bank, the Capital. I'm 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 mixing up my words right now. So, I mean, I can send you those links, but
Yeah.
the proceeds go to those organizations that help better Black people, whether they are servicing their well-being, their mental health, or, just trying to get through day-to-day things. So I have those masks that I'm making, so feel free to buy them and help out the cause and also support a Black business. And just stay tuned for my next collection. Once you follow Hendrix Designs on Instagram, you'll be able to stay tuned and upbeat on everything going on. That's Hendrix Designs. So yeah, that's about it. Follow me on the gram.
Absolutely. I definitely appreciate you, Nikki. We will definitely have the gram, your Instagram handle. We'll have the links to your website and also those organizations. Those organizations are also on your website as well, too.
Yeah, so once you click on the mask, it'll tell you everything.
Okay, perfect.
It's
So we'll have links to that. Yeah,
Uh,
no worries. We'll have links to that information in the show notes as well too, so that you can go to support. And I think that I appreciate you obviously for again giving the opportunity to kind of tell not just your story, but so many stories of people that you've talked to as well. And I think a lot of times we forget that we can use our dollars in order to empower others, to empower those stories, to make sure that that narrative is being had. So I definitely appreciate you for taking a stand and providing us all the opportunity to do that as well too. And
yeah.
I hope you have a great rest of the day.
Thank you. You too.